Hello, fellow map makers. Welcome to another live map making session with me. That's Rob Shamon of Pro Fantasy Software and Campaign Cartographer 3 Plus. I hope you can hear me. Sound seems to be fine. Yes, there's the confirmation. Thank you very much. I seem to be good to go. Stream says good health. Connection is fine. Sound is there. The only thing is missing is the cat, but she might turn up later. All right, what do I want to do today? Today I'm taking a look at the latest Cartographer's Annual, but since that is a map pack, meaning a selection of pre-constructed maps, instead of just going through them and looking at them, I'm gonna take the style used and create a map similar, specifically because the style is not one single one, but it's cobbled together from quite a different variety of sources. And I want to show you how to do that for your own maps and still create a good looking floor plan from that. Okay, congratulations there to in the chat. Hunter Greenhouse got his first paid map commission. That's always a nice thing. I've got one to do over the weekend. I just promised I'll finish a map over the weekend, so I'll be busy mapping outside Pro Fantasy time as well. Good. As always, if you like our content, please do subscribe, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you've got any questions during the session, please post them in the chat. We'll be happy to show any specific things you want to see. And there's lots of knowledgeable people in the chat who can answer any questions. All right, so let's have a quick look at the map I've got up on screen here. That's the first floor, the ground floor of the Black Cat, or the River Cat Inn, not the Black Cat Inn. I might have, I'm just thinking of Asa there. It's the River Cat Inn, not the Black Cat Inn. And as you can see, it's quite a detailed layout, and this is not the only map that's in the annual. It's actually 6 different floor plans. So that's the roof level, 4 floors, the basement, and then there's a 7th map, the actual town map. And the base of most of this is the Darklands city style from, I forget the year right now, 2020, probably. And Kevin, who created the map, took that and expanded the style with symbols from and textures from Dungeon Designer and other annuals from the same year, and created this beautiful map as a result of that. The problem is, of course, you can't just take one of our styles and start mapping to create the same kind of look, because it's you need to combine different things, and I want to take a look and see how we can do that in this session today, while also doing a little bit of a floor plan. Yes, Kevin is in the chat there. Hi, Kevin. Nice to see you. And if you've got any questions about this, just bother him instead of me. So it's easy. Good. So first off, I want to start off with the town style and create a map there that's a house layout that serves as the basis of our building. All right, so how are we going to do that? I'm going to click New Map icon and then going to go for cities, click Next, and here's already our annual Darklands city style. And I'm going to use that, click Next, and create a smallish map, say 120 by 90. I don't want to do a whole town map here, what Kevin did, so I don't have the time for that and do anything else, so we'll skip most of that part. And then I'm gonna finish and call this my house, and here's the basic map from the style. The only thing I want to do here is create the layout of my house, because I do have the house tools available, and I can create a multi-stored floor plan from here. And that's why I'm gonna do that from here. I'm gonna turn on grid, and I'm gonna take a look at one of the existing house symbols. I could just use this. Say I'll take a house symbol here, and that's kind of a similar shape of what I have in mind. I'm going to take that down. I could just go with the symbol here, but I'm thinking I want to do a little bit something outside the pre-created symbol shapes or house shapes. So instead I'm going to use the house tool to create the symbols I want, and then go on with that in the floor plan. And I'm just putting down the house symbol, but so I have a size reference for how these will roughly look. And I'm gonna grade the style for or grab the style for the Darklands City style. That's the CA 177, and that's already preset. I'm gonna use this house roof style, and then I'm gonna start by just doing an L-shaped house, I guess. Here we go. Because I don't want only this space shape, and I don't do that. I want a little bit larger thing, so I'm gonna go stop here all the way to here, and then use this as the basis. And then what you see here probably is that the texture is pretty small or pretty blurry. That's because with the city style normally have larger maps. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to click on the display speed setting and put in a fixed bitmap quality very high. And this way I can see the texture a little bit better. Now I'm going to remove the symbol I've placed, because that was just for reference, and here I do have my general house shape. And then I'm going to do a addition to this house. Here we go. I want to do an extra. Insert that. Need to click a point within the house first. Here, click on the edge of the house, and then do a little bit of a larger section here. And there's my extension of the house. That's about right. Now I can do a little shed or extra building outside and do floor plans along with that. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to grab just, do I have the thatched version of the houses here? Simple. No, that's just that. Thatched H there. That's the one I want. Just a simple shape. Take the simple roof style as well. Insert. And just put a shed here at this edge of the map. Now I could go in here now and put in spaces or other features of the roof, like the dormers here and chimney and things, but I can always come back later and do that then, and that's not something I need to do here right now in this session, so I'll gonna leave it for now. I might come back later. Now I want to go on and create a floor plan from that. Now, if I understand correctly, Kevin did the next step a little bit differently. He basically used the same template for the floor plan and built on that and his own layers and stuff. But I wanted to make it a little bit easier for myself at least, and for coming in, and I'm going to create going to use the floor plan tool to create all the bases for the different buildings. And then I can add the stuff I need to those maps as I go along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the floor plan tool. I'm going to select all the buildings I want floor plans of. There we go. Press D for do it. And now here I can select the style I want my maps to be in. And one of the things that Kevin used for the floor plans was the Dungeon Designer 3 symbols, so I'm going to use that as the basis here. And choose that as the template, and then I'm going to call this my house. And then I can set here how many floors I want. I'm not going to do quite as many as in the original map. I'm going to go to 2 above ground levels, 1 basement level, and I also got the roof drawing. Though basically we already have that with this map, but it's going to be fine. American naming scheme is fine, and I'm not going to do anything else, and then I'm just going to click OK. And the maps have been created in the background, and then can now click on this to go to the building layout. So normally you do this in a bigger town map, and then you have just a little hyperlink on the single building that allows you from there then just click on it and open the floor plans. So here I'm going to click on this, I'm going to save this, and then here we are at the building level. And here I'm going to activate sheet effects. They are not on by default in the Dungeon Designer map. And there you can see we do have the same layout, just not the shed as well, but it doesn't have a different wall or anything. It's all basically the same here. And but what we have links to the other maps. I can go back to the main map here just by clicking it. Okay, yes, I've got the suggestion from Sue to make the grid a little less noticeable. That might be nice. So I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm right-clicking the grid button, and then here the grid dot style. You can grab the small buttons, and then you'll probably hardly be able to see them on the video. And I can click back on the link here and go back to my map. So this, of course, does look quite a little bit differently from the style than the one that I showed off originally. If I want to just go back to that for a second, I can go through my previously opened maps. And you see the background there is the grass is very different. The walls are different. Let's have a quick look and see how the walls are set up, for example. So if I see lots of custom sheets, we're not going to do quite as many there. Where's my walls sheet in here? There's my walls one. Hide all. And let's have a quick look. Oh, it's actually the wooden walls. Sills. Okay. Am I just not seeing an old sills one? Well, no matter, I'm going to take a look at this here. I'm going to use extract properties, click on this, and there you can see that this style is actually from the annual 172, the wooden ones. And we don't have them in our style. And see, there's all the 177 textures, and there's the Dungeon Designer ones. We have those. But lots of the other textures we don't have in the map by default. How do we get them in? Well, we are going to do this in a second. Alright, and then we are going to go back to my house, floor 1. There we are. And what's the best way to get the textures of a style into an existing map? You could, of course, go through tools, import bitmap file styles, go to the folder and import them all. The problem there might be that you don't know the scaling that the original style has, and you have to set this in here. So what is normally easier is just to import a map for a sec and then delete it again, because that will bring in all the textures. For that, we are gonna go file, draw, insert file, and then we are gonna take a look at our program data, CC plus, bitmaps, no, not bitmaps, wrong, annual. And then we're going to go to, what did we have? CAS 172. That's from the Chic Deck Plans style. And then we'll just grab an example here, put it here in a second, and then edit undo. And we should now have all the fill styles in here. And there you can see them, the different 172 ones in there. So a few missing there, well, doesn't matter. And then we want to include the fill styles from the Darklands City style, and easiest there is just to use the example map we had open at the start. So I'm going to draw, insert file again, or actually we can go through here, we're almost there, Darklands City, grab the old market district, let's place it off to the side. It'll take a while because it's pretty large. And then I'm going to just undo again. And we should now have all the 177 bitmap fills in there as well. No, we don't. Did I miss something there? No, there they are. They've got the CA177 at the start. That's why they show up in a different location here. All right, so we've got all the fill styles in there, so let's save them up. And now we can go in and change stuff. Easiest is often to go through the sheets. So I'm going to go through a background sheet here and change fill style. And I think this was one of the bitmap fills from the one of the grass styles here. I think it was a little bit lighter. There we are, that looks quite nice. And then we can just go in here and move next sheet and go through the sheets. There's our floors. So I think there was some wooden flooring on the base on the floor there. So we might do a different one. So change fill style, let's grab this here and let's put in some wood planks in here. I think the planks were used, horizontal ones. And then here for this, let's do a little bit of a stone tiles or something along those lines. Flagstones, that's from the dungeon designer. Water, that's the dungeon designer floor. Could just grab that grey tiling, and for here let's do a dark earth background or something like that. So change fill style again, and let's have a look. Dirt brown, that's from dungeon designer. That's going to be fine. Then we're going to go through the sheets again. Here's our walls. And for that we use one of the stone, or actually for these we use the stone because that's the base of the house. Change fill style. Let's have a look what we have got. It's roof stone, cobbled city, metal, sand, stone again, that's the dungeon designer stone, tiles, let's let's still use that. Flat one, there we go. And this, I want to do some wooden walls, because this is the shed outside. So I'm gonna go for planks again. Yeah, let's use darker planks. Vertical ones, there we go. And I think with that we've got most of the stuff already. Oop. Activate sheets effects. No, I want to show all the sheets. There we go. So there we've already got a nice layout. Little bit different textures from different sources, but they work together quite nicely. And that looks quite good already. Alright, so I want to show you a bit of what Kevin did with the walls there for the windows and stuff. It works quite nicely. So let's go in and first put in some doors. Let's start out with some doors. So I'm going to do a nice big front door, double wood, reinforced. Here is the main entrance. This you can see it attaches to the wall, and since the snap is on, it should go there here in the center. There we go. And then we're going to do some interior doors. Let's also put the double one in here. So this is kind of a vestibule entry there. And then I want a door to the backyard. Do one back here in the corner and another one here. Also for the shed, for there I'm going to do an open one. Oop, yeah, there's the problem there is that the grid is a little bit too wide for this, because I didn't do a full grid or 2 full grids for this shed. So let's undo this. Let's have a look at the grid and make that grid a little bit smaller, so we can actually, oh, not smaller, but more snap divisions. Oh, there's an error here actually. It says 2 snap, but it only has 1 snap division. So let's just make this 2 snap divisions and see whether that works better then. Yep, that's more to my liking. There's my open shed door. So one thing, let's take a quick look at the original map to show what I mean. So let's see, here we are. If you take a look at Kevin's map, you've got this nice thing that, see, the door just has a complete break in the wall, but the windows, while they have a break in the wall, they do have a sill underneath, which makes it look much nicer and realistic, and I want to replicate that. So I'm going to go back to my map. Where are we? Here we are. No, that was the wrong one. Here we are. And for that, I do need a copy of the wall on a sheet underneath the one, so that basically shows up as the windowsill. So I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go to add walls sill. I'm going to move this up so it's just below the wall sheet on there. Let's see, I'm not going to put in a sheet effect on at the moment. We might always do that later. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the sheet by layer walls. Do it, and I'm going to put that on win walls sill. Go. If you take a look, there's no difference because our wall currently completely covers that. What I should do is though is I need to put that on a different layer as well and freeze that. Otherwise our cutting windows will cut into the windowsill below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide everything but the wall sill. Do change layer. All you can see here, press D for do it. And then just gonna call it sills. Put that in there, make sure I've got it on the sills layer, and I'm gonna freeze the sills layer now, so it doesn't get affected by anything I'm doing. Show all. And now if I get in the wall features, grab a window, see here, and it's a bit actually large for this wall here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. There we go. Oh. No, that's not what I wanted. Why doesn't... Yeah, I've got two problems here. Actually, my symbol has gone below the walls, and that's obvious because I do have the symbols sheet below that. So I'm going to move this up. There we go. And that's more to my liking. That's what I want in the window here. The problem is my so-called transparency acne. I've got a bevel effect on the wall, and a bevel effect above a sheet with exact same texture gets into trouble, and Campaign Cartographer can't recreate that properly because it needs the differences in the pixels, the pixel coloring to create the bevel properly. And we do have a number of options there. We can put in an in-between sheet that basically puts in a separating entity there that gets rid of that. Or we can, and what I'm going to think about anyway, get rid of the bevel effect and do a little bit different effect here. Let's have a quick look what Kevin has done on his map. I don't remember whether he used the bevel effect there. He did use a bevel effect, and also on the sill. So we do need something separating there, or a different texture. We can always use a different texture below. So let's try to recreate that. So for that, let's go to the wall sill sheet first. Hide all. And change the fill style all to something. Oh, actually, I do need to thaw the layer. Change fill style all, and make that a little bit different. Problem is I don't have a just slightly darker stone texture of this texture. Otherwise I would have liked to use that. But I can use the dirt gray one. It should look okay. Show all, and then I'm going to grab the bevel effect and copy that over to the sill, paste, and there we are. Now you've got, I can make this bevel a little bit smaller, so I can actually see it on the sill. So let's do that at half the size on the walls as well. No, 2.5. There we go. And there we've got rid of our transparency problem. A differently textured windowsill, and our wall is looking good. And I can now go on and create more windows there. What I do have them at half size. Let's put in some larger ones here on the sides. Okay. Why are somehow the windows are a little bit scaled differently, the larger ones and the smaller ones? Okay, that's a bit weird. Let's see if I do this and set it to... Oh no, I did have a different scale in there, I think. Oh, I might have accidentally scaled the symbols. But no, this looks actually right there. And then go back to our smaller ones and put some more windows in the other walls. Oh, there was one off from the wall. Erase this one here, my stray window. And there I have my general shape and layout of the building. What has happened here? Somehow these walls haven't put a gap into the wall. Let's try redoing that. My double wood doors set to normal. That looks better. But I do have the windowsill here now, which I shouldn't have. Let's see whether it worked at the front door. I think it worked properly at the front door. Yes, just not here. I'm not sure. Perhaps I did something there at some point. Not quite sure. Let's do this by hiding everything but the walls and the symbols. Sheet. No, it's not the one. Symbols wall, I guess. Yeah. And then I'm just going to put a gap into the windowsill here. No, that didn't work. To have everything thought. Let's make sure. Break this from here to here. No, it doesn't want to. I'm not entirely sure why it doesn't want to break here at that point. Let's have a look. Full list. Oh, now it has worked. Perhaps there was a doubling up of things. Sure. But I do need to get rid of the... yeah, there's double... ha ha ha. I understand what's happening now. Yeah, and I should have looked at the chat with Sue because she already told me there's actually two walls there. Because, of course, I had two house shapes. I had this one, and then that one, and those two walls overlap, and the door placement only breaks one. And then the whole process doesn't work. Thank you very much, Sue. I should have watched what you're saying earlier. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hide everything but the wall sheet, and then I'm just gonna get rid of the extra wall shapes here and show everything again. And now I show all the layers. No, my walls are not correct yet. Hide all. Wall sill. And I need to also remove the sill here because I don't have windows here anyway. There we go. And that should be it. There we are. Finally. Got my door right. Alright. So that's symbols, and I've got the fill styles I need in here, but I might want to save stuff for do stuff for walls. Say I want to put in an interior stone wall in here. I can of course take a look at my wall ones, and I do have can use the current fill and things, but I do have the dungeon designer ones for the city designer floor plan, so it's kind of limited what I have. I might want to set up my own, and I usually don't like to mess too much with an existing style by adding more stuff. So what I want to do, I'm going to create my own style from this, my own set of drawing tools, so I can work with that. Let's have a look. That's the floor. It's a bit limited from the style. I might just make a copy of the dungeon designer style. So how do I do that? I'm going to go into my program data folder, system, draw tools, and going to grab the style I want to make a copy of, or base my new one on. And for that, I'm going to go to Dungeon Designer D3 Color. And I'm just going to copy that and paste the whole folder in here. Takes some second because there's quite a few drawing tools in there. And then I will call it my Darklands fantasy, or my Darklands floor plans. And then I'm going to go into my drawing properties and set the style to my Darklands floor plans. There we are. And if I now click on the wall icons, I get all the wall tools from my copy of Dungeon Designer 3 style. So you've got Dwarven Hall wall, Stone Wall. Stone Wall is actually probably that what I want. Let's have a quick look. Wall, stone, properties. Yeah, is that a basic stone? No, I think I had a different style. Let's give it a quick look how this looks in comparison to my existing wall style. Yeah, looks about right. Seems to be the right one. It's just that my walls are not exactly the same width. Let's have a quick look. If I go hide everything but the walls, keep on this here. Oh, I was on the wall sill sheet, and therefore the wall went on there. Stone gray flat bitmap. And if I go on now, that's actually a different fill style, only slightly different, if at all, but it is a little bit different. So I want to set up, that's the wall of our outside the width of our outside walls. I want to make that drawing tool into a tool that creates the same kind of walls like this. So what I'm going to do is going to drawing tools, advanced, going to grab the stone wall tool, going to go into my properties and go to my stone tile, flat. That's what we have. I'm going to set a matching color, even though that is not really important. I'm going to put a asterisk here because I do want to be able to put that on different sheets. Okay, and I forget I should also make this width a little bit larger. 0.75 is the one I had. Save. And if I now draw a wall in this style, you can see I get the same as this one. As this one here. These are the same. So we've got the drawing tool set up. Let's go to our wall sheet. So I actually put this on this correct sheet. Show all sheets. Erase these ones. Sorry. Let me. Sorry about that. A little bit of frog in the throat, like we say in Germany, Frosch im Hals. And there we are. And I wanted to put in these interior walls now on the map here, so I'm just going to go walls. Oh, actually I should go on the walls stone. Or is it? There we go. And I can just put on the wall in here now. And wall here. And perhaps one in here. All right. And then put in some doors. There we go. Put a wall in here, a door in here, and perhaps one in here. All right. My apologies. All right, I hope that helps. Okay, forgot to grab something to drink here. Put a glass of water here. That's what I normally have close by, but today I forgot. And we've got the style now, and we kind of can put in all our own fill styles and thing in here. So, for example, if I wanted to put a little bit of a darker dirt outside around the house here. Let's have a look with our terrain features. We've got the different ones set up. Let's say I wanted to look for something different. So let's click advanced. Let's grab a terrain tool, dirt brown, and curved one, and say terrain, perhaps house edge, and go into the properties and take a look here what we've got. Perhaps we've got something nice in the ones here. For example, there's an earth texture from the Darklands city style, so I'm going to use that. Okay, save the setting, and then I'm just going to draw this around the house here. Perhaps not quite at the front. There we are. And now we need to take a quick look at our outside sheet and see it doesn't have an edge fade effect here at the moment. So what we're going to do, we're going to do an edge fade inner, make that a 3-foot transition, and perhaps also make the interior just 80% opaque. And now we've got a nice little edge, darker earth edge around the house. Let's add the same thing to the shed. Terrain, where's my house edge? Grass should be below grass. Ground, house edge, there we are. Large one, and we can use the same to actually make some paths as well. Actually, I should probably draw a little bit outside of it's, the sample. I don't need that. I want to go beyond the edge, so I don't have the sheet effect here right at the edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the tools again, advanced, and uncheck the restricted border option. Save the tool, and now I can draw across the edge here, and that way I can hide the outside here by doing the color command. So I'm going to do color and hide all the outside of the map, and now we've got the path going right up to the edge of the map. And say I want to do something nicer here on the as the main path to the house. So I'm gonna go in the tools again. Let's have a look. Do we have terrain dirt? No, we don't have a thing for that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a copy of this terrain. Let's say gravel path. And we're just gonna go for, we've got parchment, roof styles, cobbles, or actually I could do a cobbled path. I just need to call the drawing tool something different there. Just gonna do some clean cobbles, and there we are, and actually call this cobbled path, and I'm going to make this straight, and then I'm going to just put that here, and there's my nice cobblestone path leading up to the front door of the house. Good. So that's nice. We got all this set up. If you want to go in and clean up stuff, you can also, of course, always go in here. You see there's a lot of symbols in here now that we have because of the insertion of existing maps into the map. They just get added at the end. So you can go and see and remove those if you want to. You can also leave them in, use them for later, but I'll just remove some here just to show you that this can be just done quickly and easily. Also, we've got some deck symbols here. These are all pretty late in the map here. It's probably all behind waterways already shipped. So let's have a look whether we can go all the way up to here and delete those. Yeah, gonna give it a try. Delete, and there we are. And there we've removed all the additionally added sheets except for my frame and screen that I added to hide the outside of the border. Yeah, as Sue says, for Sue's thinks there's hardly any sheets in there. Yeah. I try to keep my number of sheets low and only add those that I need, and even try to not need as many. But there's different styles in mapping there, of course. Yeah, you shouldn't, of course, delete sheets that you have added stuff to, because that's not undoable. So be careful what you're doing there. So much for that. I wanted to show you a little bit more how to get the same thing into the next sheets, the next maps. First off, I'm gonna click on the next floor level. Jump in there. Let's see, we've got the same kind of setup, just a little bit of different textures. But I don't have the style set up. So what I need in here, we're gonna go in here and set this to my Darklands floor plan style as well. and I need to insert the textures, and that's the easiest now to just insert file and insert the new map I've created, I've been working on, Fantasy Streams, to my folder here, and then just grab the inflow 1 there, place. Oh no, that's actually not the one I wanted. Oh, sorry about that. Draw, insert file. What I wanted to add is my house map. Actually, now, haha, the thing what I'm looking for is actually underneath that in my house and floor plans, because all the floor plan symbols go in the subfolder. And I wanted to grab the house one, put that in, edit, undo, and now I've got the sheets and textures I've got in that map in this one as well. And I don't need to go through the whole process of bringing them together from different styles. But I wanted to go back to here, and yeah, I want to have the sheets showing on when opening the map, and for that I'm going to click on display speed settings and click on effects on when loaded, and now when I open the map, sheet effects should be on. Alright, so that's one thing. There's another thing. If I'm going through the symbols here now, you'll see that, of course, I get all the Dungeon Designer symbols. But I might also want different ones. For this style, we've been mostly using the Dungeon Designer symbols, but say I wanted to have some of, what else do we have? In there, let's have a quick look. Something that matches a bit. Dungeons. Do we have any that I could, of course, use the Mike Schley style symbols, but they don't match this map that well. For example, the Sinister Sewers maps style. So say I wanted some of the debris from the Sinister Sewers in here, or let's say, do we have furniture in there? No, but the up and down stuff. So yeah, some of the ladders in here. How do I get that into the map so I don't always have to go through this to look through the different things? So say I'm going up and down, and I've already got a number of different options in here from Dungeon Designer and the various add-ons we have to that, steps, and I can simply add more options to that. So if I click on this, I can then go to advanced, go in here, click new, and I just need to keep the DD3 color up and down in there, so it does find that when I click the button. Because we've got filters here, it looks for DD3 colors, the master filter, and up and down is the secondary filter. So say I can say I up and down sewers, then I've got a new option here, click on that, and then browse. And that doesn't need to be in DD3. So I can go in here and go to my sewer maps, Sinister Sewers there, go to the up and down symbol catalog, save that. And now I can always go in here, grab the one I want, and load that into my catalog from the Dungeon Designer 3 style. Alright, and so say I wanted to grab one of the stairs here, grab perhaps not the one with the big bright red arrow, instead make the arrow a little bit less noticeable, the gray, up, map, go in here, there's the door, so let's turn that around, make that a bit smaller, 0.5, and place that in here. I should actually go on a different sheet. I don't want a shadow on that, so I'm going to put that on Windows Symbols Flat. And go to the furniture. Grab one of the stairs for the tables. Little common room. And this way you can build your map with the furniture and floor plan and everything. And you've got your own unique style now, and different combinations of symbols and textures and drawing tools. And that way you can combine different styles into one another and make up your own look from that, like Kevin did with his River Cat Inn and the town of Edinburgh. I think Edinburgh, yes. All right, and that's about our hour of mapping. So we can always go back here to the main map. Click there, click on this, go back to this one. And I want to have something specific, say, I want the stair, because that's going up. I should be on the next map. What you can do, you can go edit, copy the stair, clipboard origin 00, and then go to the floor 2 map. Oops. Control V for insert. Use 00 as the same reference point, and then you've got the stair at the exact same location. What I would now do here probably is change that a little bit. Go to my stairs. Use the down version of this stair. Same scaling off, and then put this a little bit down here. Oh, actually my grid is here wrong, because of course I don't have the edit I did with the one. Or I think we can just grab this grid instead. No, it might be on a different location. Let's just do the 2 snap divisions we did earlier on here. And then we're gonna, no, 0.5. There we go. Erase the one we copied over. And then we've got the matching staircases to the floor 1 map. Of course, we wanted to go ahead and now change the properties here. So again, we're gonna do change fill style by layer background. Select that for our grass. Where's my grass? There's my grass. Make that a bit darker on here, perhaps. And then go in and do the same texture changes on the floors and the walls and so on. That's the disadvantage of doing the whole layout of these different floor maps via the floor plan tool in City Designer, because it does create them all in the default Dungeon Designer textures. And if you would want to do something extra, you have to set those up. You can also set your own floor plan style that translates into your style from City Designer, but that's another topic again, which I don't have the time to cover tonight. But I'll put these on the map, these maps on the forum, even if they're not finished in anything, but so you can look at stuff and check things out if you're interested. And hopefully create your own material. And that should be it for today. Thank you very much for watching, for listening and chatting. If you have any questions later, you can always put them in the forum thread we have on today's video. And we'll be happy to help out there. Otherwise, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and hopefully see you again next week. Thank you very much, have a good night, and bye bye.